I settle back in the afternoon, munching on lemonade and macaroons, letting the penance on a glass of tune, feeling lovely. Bullshit can never touch me. A hard day's work, shower up.
Hey everybody, Alex from Schultz Reviews, back here with another review for everybody. It's going to be a little bit different this time. I'm going to be doing a review on two different products, but I use them together, so I figured I would just do a review on all of it in one. Today I'm going to be talking about the dual Coil Cartomizer 510 and also the Liquinator from Vapor Essence. You can get a dual Coil Cartomizer from several different vendors. If you have any questions about them, or you need some suggested vendors to go to pick some of these up, feel free to ask me. I'll let you know. The Liquinator comes from Vapor Essence, and they usually come with a cartomizer, I believe, but you can also order separate ones. So I'm going to start off first with the dual Coil Cartomizer. For those of you who don't know, it's a cartomizer with two coils instead of one. These are a little bit longer than a standard cartomizer. Because there are two coils in there, there's more surface area being heated, which will create a little bit more vapor and whatnot, but at the same time it's going to use up your juice a little bit quicker. You will find yourself topping these off a little bit more often than a single coil cartomizer, like a Bogue, for instance. These do run through juice pretty quick, but I'll get into that more later on. It really all depends on what voltage you use it at. When I first got my dual coil cartomizers, I ran them at 3.7 volts inside my Silver Bullet. I've used them on an Ego, which I don't know the exact voltage, but anywhere from, I think, like 3.2 to 3.7, maybe higher, I don't know. Average probably around 3.4. And I liked them, but they just weren't doing it for me. When it comes to cartomizers, I started off with them on my KR808, batteries. I still use some KR808 batteries, as many people know, and I've never ever been able to get the satisfaction out of a cartomizer that I can get out of dripping directly onto an atomizer. And I was hoping that these would solve that issue for me. When I first put one on my Silver Bullet, I was pretty impressed. Show you a little vapor production here at 3.7 volts. It was better than what I had used previously when it comes to cartomizers, but it still wasn't. It wasn't good enough, is the best term I can put it at. It's a lot of vapor production. No problems at all, really. It's good. They say that you can run a dual coil cartomizer anywhere from 3.7 to 6 volts. That is the really cool thing about these cartomizers. They can be used on several different mods. Like I just said, 3.7 to 6 volts is what they say. Now, this intrigued me. I can buy a new device and not have to buy a whole different set of cartomizers and atomizers? No way. Yes way, Alex. So I said to myself, well, maybe I will enjoy these cartomizers more if I up the voltage. And what I did was I got a GLV2 5-volt regulated mod. After I had already got it and it was on its way to my house, I started reading about how people were having issues with the dual coil cartomizer at 5 volts. Some mods have some type of, protection switch, something something got tripped off when they fired their dual coil cartomizer on the 5-volt mod, and it wouldn't work. I don't know if it has to do with the amperage on the switch, or the protected batteries, or I don't know all the electronical stuff, but something caused their mod to either not fire it at all, or just fire for 2 seconds or something and then just stop. Apparently, from what I've read, the PV sees it as a short and just doesn't work and goes into like protective mode. So I was really concerned about that, especially since I found out after I had already had the GLV sent to me. So when the GLV2 got here, I got everything out, charged the batteries. First thing I did, threw on a dual coil cartomizer, and luckily for me, it worked perfectly fine, and it was cash money. It's perfect. I definitely found my sweet spot for cartomizers. I will never use a cartomizer at 3.7 volts again. Atomizers and low resistance atomizers at 3.7 volts is fantastic. I don't think I'm ever going to go into high voltage atomizers on a consistent basis. I'm going to get some just so I can test juices, and kind of give people who watch my videos a better interpretation of how I like, certain flavors and whatnot. But for me personally, I like low resistance, and that's going to be my atomizer setup, period. Now, the cartomizers, when I don't feel like sitting here dripping, are going to be on this 5-volt GLV2. So I'm going to put the DCC, same one I just used on the silver bullet, on my GLV2. As you can see, a lot more vapor, and I'm taking much shorter drags. It's awesome. This is my sweet spot for the dual coil cartomizers, and probably any cartomizer I buy in the future, definitely. And that's just kind of how I feel about the dual coil cartomizers. Now, the second part of this review, like I said, is going to be about the Liquinator. How this device works is, this doesn't come with it, this is just an extension adapter, so you don't even have to worry about that, but it's basically just this tank here. And it's got one sealed end here, one sealed end here, and there's juice inside, and right in the middle you've got a cartomizer with, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a hole on 2 sides of the cartomizer all the way toward the bottom of the tank. So when there is a dry spot in here where you're vaping it, the liquid can just simply go into one of the holes or slits and fill that area with juice, keeping your cartomizer wet all the time, constantly. You don't have to worry about it, and also taking the whole hassle out of topping a cartomizer off, which is pretty much the biggest hassle, and also you don't have to fill it nearly as much. A cartomizer can hold, well, they have ones that can hold, 3.5 milliliters or something that are outrageously big, but this can hold 3 mils just in this area here, plus whatever is in the cartomizer. I've actually heard that it's higher than 3 mils, but I don't know for sure. So it's a total win, and it's cool looking too, to be able to see your juice there, and you always know how much is in there. It's awesome. You can use a regular cartomizer inside of these, or a dual coil cartomizer, and that's pretty much, after I had run the DCCs through my PVs, I came to the conclusion that I like dual coil cartomizers a lot. I don't like how fast they burn juice. The Liquinator completely solved this issue. I do not want to run a DCC on any of my PVs, really, but especially at 5 volts without a Liquinator on it. This is going to dry out quick. I'm going to find myself topping it off a lot, and it's not going to be a good experience for me. Some people, you know, that can deal with that crap, that's fine, and they don't mind it, whatever. I do. So on my, you know, if I'm not going to use a Liquinator, I'm cool with just a standard resistance boat cartomizer. But if I've got a Liquinator available, I'm going to throw a dual coil cartomizer in it at 5 volts. With my GLV2, the tank kind of got in the way of the firing button, so I did have to put some adapters or extensions on here, which is this whole area here, which makes it look kind of funky, but I'm more into function versus the whole appearance factor anyway, and this function's great. It actually doesn't look that bad in my opinion, but, you know, to each his own. Insane vapor production. This thing is a beast. One of the best things though about the Liquinator is it is going to extend the life of whatever cartomizer is in here a lot. You're never ever gonna have, as long as it's working properly, your cartomizer is never gonna be dry. I've been using this cartomizer since I got the Liquinator, and I cleaned it once, but it's still working just as well as the first time I got it. When it starts feeling like I'm sucking, like, you know, ice cream through a straw, or the flavor is reduced, I take it out, I clean it up, clean it out, you know, get all the you know, juice, resin, whatever you want to call it, out of the cartomizer, dry it out, put it right back on. It works perfectly fine, which is also nice because dual coil cartomizers are a little bit more expensive than just standard bows. So I'm really stretching my dollar by making the investment into this Liquinator. The whole factor of not having to fill it all the time is awesome too. Once I blow through all of the juice in the Liquinator and the cartomizer, I'll refill it, but I don't have to do it nearly as much as when I did with a regular cartomizer. I would only have to fill the cartomizer once, but I would find myself topping it off time and time and time again. And this completely cuts the middleman out. You don't have to do any of that. You fill it once, you go, you're fine. And with the dual coil cartomizers, it's a complete win, 10 out of 10, because it's going to keep your dual coil cartomizer wet at all times. So overall, I think that I would say dual coil cartomizers are good. I think they're good with a Liquinator. By themselves, they're still good, but a little bit of a hassle. If you're willing to deal with that, more power to you. Overall, with voltages, 5 volts is my sweet spot for cartomizers. I recommend that. Give it a try. And overall, with everything together, like I said, I'm going to be using standard bows at 5 volts, you know, GLV2 or whatever else I have running at 5 volts. But if I want to get that extra kick, or I want to use something for a longer period of time, I'm going to use my Liquinator with a dual coil cartomizer, for sure. So, that's all I have to say, and, you know, any comments or questions, feel free. Please subscribe to my videos. I'm going to be getting some more out there. Got some new products.
The daily grind got me up in the rat race, but now I'ma pull over, pit stop and change pace. Gotta get a breather, or else I either fall down and get back up and maintain. The daily grind got me up in the rat race, but now I'ma pull over, pit stop, change pace. Gotta get a breather, or else I either fall down and get back up and maintain. It's like a cool drink of